Here we go for another video of stuff you should know. Oh my god, that rhymed. I think I gotta start using that. Hey everyone, welcome back to another video of stuff you should know. It's become more and more apparent that building a brand is crucial in today's market. You're fighting for airspace, fighting to be recognized, and trust me, it opens so many doors when you are. You want to be known for what you're good at and what makes you tick. You might be wondering, why is this key if you're already working at a super cool company that people respect? Well, because what happens when you decide to leave super cool company X? Does your coolness, your pizzazz, and do your followers leave with you? Do they follow you? Building a strong brand means people stay with you, respect you, and want to hire you for you, no matter where you end up in the future. You might end up building your own company, consulting business, or massive online presence as a result. Take Apple, Disney, Tony Robbins, Gary Vaynerchuk, Michelle Obama, you name it. These are companies and people who have built an incredible career and products. Yes, you start with that, but they found success and people pay top dollar to see them because they built a brand. They've built a loyal audience that follows them for that brand. You don't need to do it all in person. You have the power of platforms like YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Medium, TikTok, Instagram. Pick your poison. I don't know, maybe you're Gen X. Maybe there's like a Gen X. Come on. Gen Z, I can't even keep up with it. To quote Mr. Warren Buffett, by public speaking, you can elevate your value by at least 50%. And in today's world, that means using the democratization afforded by open platforms. You have a ready and listening audience. Yes, you, right now, you're my ready and listening audience. But it's not going to happen overnight, and it never will. It takes practice, consistency, dedication, and honing. So, here are 3 tenets for building a great personal online brand. Number 1, find your niche. You've all heard this before. You need to figure out what that niche is and try not to stray too far from it. That's what a personal brand is all about. What are you known for? You can't start too broad because you want to naturally build a following, and a good way to do that is to find your community. For me, I work in technology and I can talk about Google Cloud all day, but for my personal brand, I offer career, personal branding, and productivity tips, especially as it relates to the tech industry. My Google brand and personal brand are symbiotic in that one helps the other, but I'm working towards honing my niche in my personal branding space for a reason. So the people who are deliberately looking for this information, aka you, will follow me even if I go beyond Google in the future. I've made this tech joke before, but it's like building high availability for yourself. Some even argue that you should hyper niche, aka become even more targeted. The internet has revolutionized the ability to form very tight communities. Whether you like knitting sweaters for cats, making potato guns in your free time, or have a cooking channel for your hamster. I'm not judging. There is something for everyone. Leverage that. It's easy targeting and instant audience engagement. Number 2, consistently create content. If you're trying to build a brand, you need to provide valuable information to your audiences, and it just doesn't work if you're doing that once every 3 months. If you want people to tune in and see you as an expert in your field, you must deliver frequent information. And yes, that's a lot of work and seems daunting, but here's a little secret that both Gary Vaynerchuk and I agree with. A reverse pyramid structure that lets you shard or distribute your content. In other words, create once, deploy everywhere. Yes, that was another tech joke. Maximize your reach and think of content only once. At the top, you start with your document pillar content or long form piece of content. In this case, this video is the long form, 3 steps to creating a better personal brand online. You then distribute that content to all mediums, YouTube, Facebook, IGTV. Maybe you record just the audio and release a podcast or vice versa. Next, you repurpose that into short micro pieces of content. Articles, memes, images, quotes, stories, mashups, rants, GIFs, etc. And distribute them into all other social media platforms. Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, Medium, you name it. This sounds like a lot of work again. Hey, I never said it was going to be easy. And admittedly, I'm still fine-tuning this for myself, but start with what you can. In practice, it'd look like this. You create a podcast about career growth and personal branding. You film yourself while you're recording said podcast. You share the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud. You share the video of the podcast on YouTube. your Facebook page, IGTV, etc. You pick out key quotable moments in the video and share those short clips across all social media. Then you turn those quotes into eye-catching assets using Canva or Adobe Spark and share that across all social media. And you write a blog post on all or each part of the podcast on Medium, LinkedIn, etc. And you can include the video in the post. I guarantee you'll build a following and an incredible brand online if you are consistent and use the tools you have available. Scale your content so you'll have so many micro pieces to help you with that content consistency. And the best part is that most of these things are free. Number 3, make your mess your message. I recently watched the masterclass with Robin Roberts from Good Morning America. And one thing that stood out to me about her communication techniques was to own your personal stories, opinions, and experiences. In other words, make your mess your message. If you've undergone really hard times, suffered from imposter syndrome, and then were able to overcome it, or got into tech with no programming experience like me, utilize that to empower your brand. The reason you can even find a niche to talk about is because of those very personal experiences. When I was trying to decide on what I could talk about on this channel, I remembered that I'm a woman in tech, I didn't have a technical background or know what I wanted to do out of school, and I had a really interesting story on how I got to where I am today. And that's exactly my mess and my message. It's something people attach to because it makes me more relatable for my target audience. At the end of the day, this gives you authenticity, and people eat that up. You have to be genuine. You might see YouTubers and people on Twitter spewing out strong opinions all day and have hundreds of thousands of followers. You know who I'm talking about. Gary Vee or comedians like Amy Schumer or Michael Rappaport are examples. They can be crude and opinionated, and people love them, and they've built a huge following. And it only works for them because they better believe in what they're saying. Even if you're not a loud person, you must have a personal story that you can put out into the world. Hone your message and key takeaways from that. In the tech world, that can mean using your experiences, frustrations with the tool, opinions about spaces versus tab, experiences being a minority in tech, why you hate Google Cloud versus AWS, how you built a scalable architecture. Whatever it is, wrap all of your thoughts into a document, pillar content, and send out that goodness into the world. Now, there's a lot more I can say around how to write content and incorporate storytelling into your content for higher engagement, but that's all for another video. For now, I hope you learned some stuff you should know, something opinionated and useful for building your online brand. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up, comment below with your thoughts on personal branding, subscribe, and until next time, peace.